3,000-meter run, and it's one of the tremendous races here tonight. With me, Adrian Metcalf. Adrian, Steve Prefontaine, obviously one of the big names that Europe has been waiting to see. Len Hilton, also another American in this race, tremendous two-miler. Doug Brown, a man who surprised a lot of people at the Olympic trials. He's a steeplechaser, going in the flat. Steve Savage, another steeplechaser, running the 3,000 tonight. Frank Shorter, a man who's well known in 5,000, 10,000, of course, a super marathoner. Jeff Galloway from the USA, Rod Dixon, Dick Quacks from New Zealand, Richard Taylor from New Zealand, Willie Wagner from West Germany, Carlos Garcia Caro from Spain, Mario Haro from Spain, Francesco Arisi, a name I'm sure well known to you, from Italy, Per Holla from Norway, Arne Hovde from Norway, John Gridland from Norway, Arild Strom Andersen from Norway, Arne Kvalheim from Norway, and Stanislaw Hoffman from Czechoslovakia. And that is a very, very big field.
Yes, it's ludicrously large. It's a narrow track anyway, only 6 lanes, and to put this number of people is just absurd. They've got 3 or 4 Norwegians in to please the crowd, but I think the crowd would be quite happy to see Prefontaine running on his own. We've heard so much about this boy, standing there right on the left, right on the inside, and he might well go into the lead. He's looking for a fast time. The Europeans want to see him. They've heard a lot about him. Most of it he's said himself, and Pre it is who leads out there. Race he's tucked in back in 6th place. It'll take a while for this field to sort themselves out. It's a very large one, and somebody's going to have to do a very fast first lap if they're going to get away.
Kvalheim looks like he jumped into the lead on that.
Yeah, Arne Kvalheim set his record here 2 years ago. Kvalheim, a graduate from Oregon, and he set the national record here, 7:54.6, a couple of years ago. So he'll get a lot of cheers for the first lap, but I don't see... Maybe he's going to go on a preordained plan with Prefontaine and take him out.
He said he wanted to try and go a 4:05 pace. Once again, they were schoolmates at the University of Oregon, so perhaps that is the case.
Well, they've got to lap at around 62 seconds per lap if they're going to get near Prefontaine's record, which stands at 7:45.8.
Kip Keino's record's a rather astounding one too, at 7:39 and 6/10 seconds.
Kvalheim has not been running as well as he did a couple of years ago, but they're well on schedule with that lap, just over 60 seconds.
You know, this strange distance, Adrian, the 3,000 meters, a lot of people wonder perhaps about this world record pace of Keino's, a 7:39.6, and in terms of a 2-mile run, that averages out to somewhere around 8:10, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a very, very impressive. Len Hilton is in 2nd place now. He may come over and do a bit of the pacing. And little Mariano Haro there in 4th place. He's a very dangerous runner. I saw him training the other day, and he was just working out very loosely, but he's going to be one of the danger men in the longer distance in this in Munich, in the 10,000. But he's a very dogged runner. He's the Spanish record holder. He's in 4th. The tall figure of Franco Aresi is way back in 7th place at the moment, and he's going to have to make a break to stay with the field.
Shorter right in front of him. Of course, better in the long distances. This is a real sprint for him tonight.
Still Arne Kvalheim getting a few cheers down the back straight, looking nice and relaxed.
Prefontaine right in position, just where he wants to be, I'm sure, right in back of Arne Kvalheim.
Yeah, they're still on schedule, a lap there around 63 seconds, but it does look as if Kvalheim's beginning to feel the pace just a little bit. Prefontaine hasn't led yet, and he'll want to stay off leading as long as possible to husband his strength. Boy, in 5th place there is Stanislav Hoffman, the Czech. He might find himself a little bit out of his class in this race. The crowd very excited to see Prefontaine. He's been burning up the tracks in America. And when we see the Virens and so on in this kind of company, it's nice to see him running so well.
Shorter still up in that first part of that group, and way in back for some of the American people is Doug Brown, a man who fell down actually in his 3,000 meter steeplechase, got up, went from about 5th position into 2nd position and made the U.S. Olympic team. So he's a pretty tough kid also.
You can see Kvalheim there, his head's going a little bit and he saw his arms, he's a little bit shaky. It's an Oregon benefit up front at the moment, but I think he's going to find the pace a little bit too hard for him. And I think Prefontaine pretty soon is going to have to take it up if he wants to stay in this kind of company.
Prefontaine looks nice and easy. Looks like he's capable of running a very quick time tonight, even though he did get in 1,500 meters yesterday. I think he really was concentrating more on this race tonight.
Well, he's got to start lifting the pace because they're just fractionally lapsing outside the schedule he set when he set his American record.
That pack is still pretty well together, even though they're strung out. There's no big separation.
Still Kvalheim leading. He may well run the first 4 laps and then drop out. He may in fact hang in there. But Prefontaine's got to think about moving pretty soon. It's very easy if you're running behind someone to accept their pace and find it very hard to push out in front, and it takes a lot of courage to do it. Prefontaine looks as if he's lurking down. Len Hilton's running well within himself in 3rd place and looking very comfortable. Coming up to the end of 4 laps now.
Hilton was the 5th fastest American 3-miler. He's done a 13:04. We'll be back with the finish of the 3,000 meter in just a minute.
When you have athlete's foot, you're always sneaking a scratch, cause it itches. It's a fungus that makes a crack in the skin, and it's hard to get at. Use NP27. It has a fungicide to kill the fungus, and then help keep it from coming back. NP27 feels real nice on your feet, and when that itch finally stops, it's a real pleasure.
When sculling was a popular sport to watch, Pabst Blue Ribbon was already America's great beer. It still is today. For Pabst is the beer that has always made America's good times even better. Blue Ribbon has the flavor our country likes. Good old-time flavor. Only Pabst has it. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Setting the pace since 1844 as the very first of the great Milwaukee brewers.
Prefontaine, Kvalheim's calling him through, and Prefontaine is starting to take it up. He gets a pat on the back from Arnie Kvalheim. Kvalheim drops out, and now Prefontaine, a little shake of the arms, and away he goes on his bid to break this record. Looking very loose. He's got 5 or 6 yards on Len Hilton, Mariano Haro in 3rd place, and Hoffman of Czechoslovakia in 4th. Dick Fax of New Zealand in 5th, and the rest of the Americans tailing back in this field as their champion and record holder goes down the back straight, looking very strong. America 1st and 2nd, and Haro of Spain leading a chase on Prefontaine. They're coming up to the end of 5 laps, and they're just about on schedule for that American record. The time, remember, 7:45.8.
Hilton's still looming behind Prefontaine, so the Americans 1-2 right now. Haro of Spain in 3rd position, about, what, 12 yards back right now, Adrian. Frank Shorter hanging on to a 5th place position.
Yes, I have a feeling Prefontaine may have left it a little bit too late. He hung in behind Kvalheim for slightly too long, and I think he may have let the pace drop a little bit too much, and he's going to have to throw in some laps around 61, 62 to get back on schedule.
Shorter trying to move up on the outside there, but there's Prefontaine all by himself at this point, about 15 yards ahead of Hilton.
And the thing I admire about Prefontaine is that he says he's going to do something, and he has the courage to do it. He's like David Bedford, he's like Ron Clark, he's like all the great leaders in middle distance running who commit themselves and then they live up to it. And the hardest thing in the world is to say you're going to do something and then go out and prove it in front of, as here, 25,000 cheering and shouting fans, but very critical fans too if you don't come back with the goods.
That lead has increased quite a bit now. He's got some 25, 30 yards over Hilton and the rest of the field here. But Prefontaine really living up to that expectation.
Just over 500 meters to go. He's a little bit outside schedule. He's going to have to throw in a very fast last lap if he's going to break this American record. You can see though the way he's cut away from the rest of this field. He's going to be coming up to the bell now, and he's got maybe 30 yards on the rest of the field, and he knows when he gets the bell he's got to start racing. So here he goes. Terrific cheer for Prefontaine.
He's really lifting now. He's opened it up even more. This is what he wanted to do. This is what he didn't do last night in that 1500. All by himself, running the kind of race that he wanted to run.
He's chasing hard. He's got 220 yards to go, just completing 7 laps and half a lap to go. He threw in a 60-second lap there, so he's dead on schedule. The time to beat is 7:45.8, and he's running a little bit on his back. He's looking a little bit tired, but he's digging deep into those reserves that have brought in so many American records. The crowd are cheering because the Norwegian is leading the chase in 2nd place, but Len Hilton's pulled through, and now it's America 1 and 2. So Prefontaine coming down all the way and looking for this American record. It's 7:45.8 to beat. Prefontaine digging in hard. He's going to be very, very close to it. Down the line there, he's inside that American record, so it's another one. Len Hilton gets 2nd place. 6. New Zealand gets 3rd and Norwegian 4th. Hoffman of Czechoslovakia 5th. But no doubt about the winner. Magnificent run. He's done it again, and he's given due warning to all those men like Bedford he's going to meet in Munich that he's going to be very hard to beat.
Mr. Prefontaine is winning time, a new American record, 7:44 and 2/10. Second place, Len Hilton running a very good time, 7:48 flat. In third position, Dick Quacks of New Zealand, 7:49.6. And in fourth, a new Norwegian record, 7:50 and 6/10. All these men, of course, bettering the stadium record.
Well, Pre, first of all, just great. Congratulations. There are so many things we can talk about. How do you feel first?
I feel very good.
First of all, Europeans loved you. You see that. They're going to love you all through Europe. Secondly, congratulations on your new American record, new stadium record. Now let's talk about you and Arnie Kvalheim. You went to help him last night, and he was going to help you tonight, right?
That's very true. Arnie and I are pretty good friends. We go to the same school, or we did. He graduated now, and he was injured all last fall and couldn't train, and so he started in May training for the Olympics, and he's just now starting to come around, and he hasn't qualified for the Norwegian team yet, and so we got together and we decided that we'd like to see each other over in Munich, and so he asked me if I'd help him in the 1500, and I asked him if he'd help me in the 3000, and it kind of worked out very nice.
It sure did. Steve, now did you stay right with your plan here this evening?
More or less. I could have been a little more relaxed in the middle part of the race, but I think I felt the race from last night, that my 1500 meters last night, I felt very tired in the middle, but I came back strong in the end again, and that's what makes me feel very good, because I was strong at the end. I wasn't fast, but I was strong over the last 2.5 laps.
You look very nice and loose too, really.
I'm not even tired now.
Isn't that great? Okay, we'll go on to Munich and greater things. Steve Prefontaine, good going.
Thank you very much.